Hi there, it's a Friday morning. Welcome to the sports segment here on AM Show. A lot to look forward to today in terms of sporting activities and with what happened yesterday in the English Premier League. What a game it was. Well, I mentioned that arguably it was going to be the biggest game of the season yesterday, and indeed it lived up to the billing. Great action we saw on the pitch, and results went in favour of Manchester City. They won by 2-1, and by virtue of that win, now the points gap between Manchester United and Liverpool is 4, and it makes the title race very, very exciting. And obviously, we'll be looking forward to the next matches in the English Premier League. But remember, this weekend there are no English Premier League matches. Rather, we're going to see action in the English FA Cup. I'll bring you full fixtures of matches to expect this weekend. The Spanish La Liga is bouncing back this weekend after the Christmas break. But one outstanding game was played yesterday, where Real Madrid played against Villarreal, and that game ended 2-2. We'll talk about that later. But we have to start here on the local scene. And on Sunday at the Babara Sports Stadium, Asante Kotoko will take on Asante Gold in a cup game to honor former Ghana President John Kuffour. Now, the match forms part of activities to raise 80 million Ghana cedis in the next 5 years for the President Kuffour Foundation programs. Kotoko Communications Director Safuduku believes Asante Gold, their opponents, will hand them the needed test going into their CAF Confederation Cup playoff game with Cameroonian side Cotton Sports.
To us as Asante Kotoko, this match is very, very important to us. First of all, it's a match that you're going to play to honor our former board chairman and our former president of the Republic. Secondly, we have a crucial match ahead of us. And then we believe that this match will serve as a good preparatory match ahead of that big clash in Cameroon. And of course, we are also mindful of the fact that we have to lift our first trophy this year. We believe that AshGold will give us the needed opposition that we require to play our match. In fact, we don't have any other game to play apart from this match before the big game. So we take it very, very seriously.
All right, so that was Kumasi Asante Kotoko Communications Director Safuduku speaking to us earlier on that game that Kumasi Asante Kotoko are going to play against Asante Gold at the Babara Stadium on Sunday. Well, joining me on the phone lines to talk more on that game, as well as how this is likely to help Asante Kotoko going into their CAF Confederation Cup playoff game with Cotton Sport Gala, is my colleague in Kumasi, Kelvin. Also, answer. Kelvin, thanks so much for joining me. You are the presser. And Safo just spoke to us, and he sounded very, very optimistic going into that game. I mean, looking at everything that Asante Kotoko have been doing in the past few weeks, where they went on break and now have resumed for this game, how is this likely to help the team going into that game against Cotton Sport?
Well, thank you very much, Benedict. And just as you said, they are very optimistic of having a very good game and beating Asante Gold come Sunday at the Babara Sports Stadium. They believe that after the break for the U-Tide, this is the only preparatory game that they can make very good use of to build their team's chemistry after a break for the game against Cotton Sport. And yesterday I was present at the training grounds to see Coach Sika Akono and his men train, and the euphoria around the training grounds definitely gives you an indication that the fans are expecting nothing but a victory against Asante Gold. And they make reference to the fact that during the break, Asante Kotoko had to play Asante Gold twice at the Kumasi Babara Sports Stadium and then at the Obuasi Lenkley Sports Stadium, where Kotoko won 3-2 at Babara, and then AshGold also won 3-2 at Obuasi, which means that they need to settle their scores come Sunday. So for the team, the playing body, and then the technical team, as well as the fans and management, they are not taking the game lightly at all. They really want to go all guns out and have the very best of the game come Sunday.
Calvin, is it a kind of game you think that people will come to the Babara Stadium to see?
Well, definitely. It's a game people have been yearning for, and the consistent postponement of the games hasn't really helped matters because fans were eager to see Asante Kotoko and AshGold lock horns. Let's not forget that Kumasi Asante Kotoko, right after the CAF Confederation Cup, was supposed to play Asante Gold a week after, but they decided that they needed a rest and then they had to go on a break, which affected the game. But currently, I think in the past 2 days, the euphoria has been a little bit late, all because of the statements made by Dr. Kuffour, champion, that is the president of Asante Gold, and then the management of Asante Kotoko, Safuduku, and that is Yao Amosapon, the policy analyst. They believe this should be the very best platform for the two sides to really showcase their powers. And then for Asante Kotoko, this is the only option for them to prove their mettle that they are the best in Asante once they want to have the bragging right. And the fans have really held onto the statement from the two CEOs, that is the two CEOs from Ashanti Gold side, that is Frederick Echampo and George Amon, who spoke yesterday to us that they are going all guns out. And the fans are really ready to troop to the stadium just like they did in the Confederations Cup match against Taribangi Sharks to witness the game. And let's not forget, this is at a very cool rate, lower than what they paid for the Confederation Cup. So they are eager to troop to the stadium and support their team and look at the progress. Let's not forget, and as much as they qualified for the next stage of the CAF Confederation Cup, they weren't so pleased with the performance of the team. So the fans are eager and they want to come to the stadium to witness whether there's been a progress from the technical team and the playing body after that game against the Kenyans.
Kelvin, finally, I mean, yeah, we've talked about Kumasi Asante Kotoko, how this game likely will help them prepare for that game against Cotton Sport Garua. But we understand the Asante Inotumfo City will be at the stadium tomorrow. And also briefly, the state of the Barbara Sports Stadium. I mean, questions were asked as to whether this game can be played there. What was the outcome, or what was the response that you guys got at the presser the last time?
Yeah, the last time we the NSA director, that is Professor Chumesi, the new director, was present, and then we quizzed him on a number of facilities which are malfunctioning at the Barbara Sports Stadium. The first thing was we all know the state or the condition of the former ex-president, His Excellency John Ajekum Kuffour, and then the lift or the elevator would have been very good for him after the ceremonial handshake and kickoff. But it looks like the elevator was not working. But we spoke to him and he said that preparations were being made to fix that. With regards to the scoreboard, he also said that they've allowed the technologists to come and have a quick look at it, and then hopefully today it's going to be fixed. I'm going to do a follow-up to check whether those facilities have been. You look at the state of the pitch and it's not really the best, but that was on Wednesday. But they promised that come Sunday we are going to have the best of pitches for the game. But all other facilities for me are really in good shape for the game. The seats, some of them have been replaced. The VVIP seats have been worked on, and the toilet facilities. And when you get to some of the buildings, you can see that they are painting. A lot of things are being done. So for this game, I feel that the only problem that it is going to have is the scoreboard that is not functioning. Then the elevator that could have helped the former president to move up to the presidential seat after the ceremonial handshake. But he promised that it's going to be fixed. Hopefully today, when I get to the stadium, I'll make checks to ascertain whether those facilities have been looked at.
Kelvin, thank you much for your time this morning. So that was my colleague Kelvin Owusu Ansa speaking to me from Kumasi on that big game this Sunday. Ashanti Gold up against Kumasi Asante Kotoko in the President Kuffour game. That's Jack Cup. And for Kotoko, they will use the game to prepare for that big assignment which they're going to play against Cotton Sport Garua. It's a CAF Confederation Cup. And next week they will leave Ghana January 10th, and that game will be played in Cameroon on January 13th. And the second leg will be in a week's time at the Barbara Stadium. That will be on January 20th. And we hope by then Kumasi Asante Kotoko would have qualified to the next stage of the CAF Confederation Cup.